guys, it's your girl the Great Tete, and as you can see from the title of this video, I will be making a closure wig on a sewing machine, and I'm going to be as detailed as possible, y'all. So that's my closure. It's a body wave closure. I've already bleached the knots, and I've already resized my mesh dome cap. So if you want to see how I did that, I'll link the video above on how I bleached my knots and how I resized my wig caps, y'all. So I'll start with placing my closure on the mesh dome cap. So whenever you're placing your closure on your mesh dome caps, you guys, you should always place it at least a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the dome cap. So as you can see, it's a 1/4 inch away. And then I secure the ends with my T-pin. So now I'm gonna secure the back of the closure, you guys. So you wanna ensure that it's as flat as possible. So you stretch it to the sides and then you pull it back, and then you use your T-pins to secure it to the canvas head. And just so you know, guys, I'm using a 21 circumference canvas head. Oh my god, I can't talk today. Canvas head. And the reason I had to resize my mesh dome cap was because the client that I'm making this wig for, she has a very small head. So I had to go in and resize the mesh dome cap, y'all. So now I'm putting the hair in a bun just to get it out of the way, as I'm gonna sew my closure down, you guys. And I know some people, they prefer to sew their closure last, but I prefer to do it first, because when I'm done sewing on the sewing machine, I just want to style the wig and I just want to be done with it. So what I'm doing right now, I am sewing the closure down. It doesn't matter how you sew it, just sew it down, because we're going to go over it with the sewing machine. So just sew it down and ensure that it's secure. And also, just in case you're wondering, I am using a 4x4 closure. So it's a 4x4 Brazilian body wave closure, and it's on my website. You can get it on my website because I sell here as well, which is -27.com. So if you're looking to get bundles or closures or custom wigs, you can hit me up, www.27.com. And also, you guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet subscribed. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload any new content. And leave a comment in the comment section below. I want to know if you really enjoyed this video, if you think this video was helpful to you, or if there is any additional information that you may need, or I'm more than happy to help you. I'm more than happy to answer you. And also, give this video a big thumbs up, hit the like button, you guys, if this video was helpful to you. So enough of my chit chat, you guys. As you can see, I'm still sewing down the closure. I am telling you guys, I want this video to be as detailed as possible. So I tried my best not to edit, all the things that would be relevant to someone who is just learning to make wigs. So just something to point out to you guys, whenever you're sewing down your closures and you're gonna create that like a knot, try not to do it at the hairline, you guys. So just sew it to the hairline and then you bring it back a little bit, and that's where you want to make your knot, because you don't want the knot to be at the hairline. So now, you guys, we are going to create our guidelines for our wig. These lines are going to help to kind of like guide us whenever we're sewing on the sewing machine. So just a food for thought, your guidelines should be at least a thumb away, like a thumb width away. So as you can see, I'm using my thumb to kind of like help me to create the guidelines, pretty much, because you don't want the lines to be too close to each other, because if it's too close, then your wig is gonna be all bulged up, and you don't want that, right? And also, you don't want to have too much hair sewn on the wig as well. So if you want your wig to be full, you can maybe double your knots, or you can triple. I know some people, they triple their knots if you want your wig to be very, very full. But if you double your knots and you create your guidelines with at least like a thumb apart from each other, you will be fine. And just so you know, I'm just using a random crayon to create my guidelines, y'all. It's nothing special. I like using this crayon because my lines they don't fade after drawing them. I used to use a marker before, and when I'm sewing, the lines start fading away and you can't really see what you're sewing on. So this crayon works perfect for me, and also it's not water resistant, so it can be washed away. So now we're just gonna start sewing on the sewing machine. So you start by placing your dome cap and your track on the sewing machine, and then you do maybe 2 back stitch. So you stitch forward, you stitch backward, then you stitch forward, stitch backward, and then you start stitching across. And just so you know, try your best not to stretch your cap. Just kind of like ensure the area where you're sewing, it's flat, and you just let the sewing machine do its thing. So when you're towards the end, you do a front stitch, back stitch, front stitch, back stitch, and then I cut my track, and then I do another front stitch, and then I cut my thread. And that's pretty much it. So that's the first, see, it's flat, it's super flat at the front and on the inside as well. And so that's the first guideline at the bottom of our wig. And now we're gonna do the same thing for each guideline. So it's pretty repetitive, guys. So just so you know, I am using a zigzag stitch and I'm sewing on tension 7. So be sure to check out my video on setting the tension for your sewing machine. My tension may be 7, but that doesn't mean your tension will be 7 as well. So you have to know what tension you need to be sewing on according to your sewing machine. And also I'm using a Brother JX1420 sewing machine. It's very user friendly. I got it in Walmart. I don't think it was expensive. I think I got it for maybe like 80 something bucks, but I'll link it in the description below. And also I'm using a polyester black thread. I also got that thread in Walmart as well. You do not want to use the hair thread that you use to sew. Like if you're hand sewing your wig, you don't want to use that thread because that thread is going to be too thick and that thread will not work in your sewing machine. You may break your needle. So you don't want to use that thread. It's going to be too thick, and yeah, it's going to be a mess. So as you can see from the video, you guys, I am still sewing away. And just a food for thought, whenever you're sewing on your mesh dome cap, you know, it's kind of, you're sewing in like maybe a rounded direction. So you want to keep turning your cap while you're sewing. And also, you don't need to be sewing super fast, you guys. You take your time. You use your finger, because as you can see in the video, I'm using my finger to secure my track to my dome cap, and I'm just sewing to my pace. You don't need to be sewing really fast because this is not a race. Okay, so you take your time. You want your wig to be really, really neat. So you want to take your time and you do your thing. You know what I forgot to mention, you guys? I already doubled my tracks. So just in case you're wondering if she doubled her tracks, did she double her tracks or not? Yes, I did. I doubled my tracks, and it's not shown in this video. I have another video that's very, very detailed on how to double your tracks. So I will link it to this video. I'll link it in the description below, so you can also check out that video, and I'm 100% sure that it will be helpful to you. So I think I already mentioned this earlier in the video, but I'm still gonna say it again. Whenever you're sewing, you guys, try your best not to stretch your cap. Whatever you do, do not stretch the cap, because if you stretch your cap, you're gonna have problems when your wig is finished. So try your best to just ensure that the area that's being sewn, just focus on that area, ensure the area is flat, and you just let the sewing machine do its thing. You just let the sewing machine flow. Okay, don't stretch the cap to get the, you don't do that, because if you do that, your cap is gonna be all messed up. So we're now sewing our final track, you guys. And I have heard that this is the hardest track to sew. For me, it's not very difficult. So I can try my best to show you. I hope you're able to see. I'm so sorry. I wanted to get a perfect angle, and the sewing machine, it's just not letting me be great. But anyways, what I do, you just put the track as close as possible to the end of your closure, you guys, and you just sew and you secure the closure and the track at the same time. So it's a zigzag stitch, so it's gonna go zigzag, so it's gonna grab the track and then it's gonna go on the end of the closure, zigzag zigzag, going right around. And try your best to twist, to turn your wig while you're sewing. And also for my final track, I always use a single track. I don't double my final track. That's just my preference. If you want to double your final track, it's up to you. Nothing's wrong with that. It's not incorrect if you double your final track. But for me, my preference, I just prefer to use a single track, because I find that it gives the wig, a more realistic look, and it's more flat. So this is what it should look like when you're done, y'all. And this is how the inside of my wig looks. Super neat. And that's how the inside of your wig should also look. Super neat. So now we're going to cut the excess cap from the wig. And when you're doing this, try your best not to cut your lace, okay? You don't want to cut your lace, because then, yeah, you don't want to do that. So we're just cutting that area from the front there. And as you can see, a couple people were asking me, from my video, I did a video on resizing your wig cap, and a couple people were asking me, so whenever I cut the excess the excess cap from the wig when the wig is finished, you know, my wig is gonna fall apart. But I'm like, no, it's not gonna fall apart. It's not gonna fall apart because remember we use the sewing machine to sew right across, so it's still secure. So as you can see there, it's still secure. The wig is not gonna fall apart. So feel free to use that resizing method, my resizing method. And this is what the wig looks like, you guys, after I, added a few curls to the wig and plucked the hairline. This is what it looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Stay blessed and keep motivated. Thanks for watching.